Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and con spoilers are coming out almost too quickly to talk about. As if there wasn't enough flavor already, we're going to look at the Abzan con, a couple different Ascendancies, a gigantic crazy beast, and a ton more. Let's do this already. See the Unwritten is 4 colorless and 2 green for a sorcery. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in your graveyard. It also has Ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1. Wow, being able to go 8 cards deep on this thing is crazy good. 6 mana sorceries take a lot for me to want to play them, but getting 2 potentially gigantic creatures into play seems pretty good to me. What are the chances you won't meet the Ferocious requirement? Like really, come on. This is 6 mana to put 2 gigantic creatures into play. It's a bargain, especially if you're playing humongous monsters like one we're going to see in a little bit. Look at Summoning Trap and Tooth and Nail. Both cards do just fine. While the Unwritten isn't Tooth and Nail, in a monster's deck, 8 cards should easily be deep enough to get something good. I think this high-cost mythic spell has a better chance of seeing standard play than most we've seen over the last few years. Creature advantage is powerful and shouldn't be ignored. Abzan Ascendancy is 1 white, 1 black, and 1 green for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. The first thing I want to talk about is how this isn't a legendary enchantment. You can stack them and get multiple triggers when creatures die. Just saying, an army of spirits is usually enough to win games. Ask Lingering Souls, it did it for a year. Past that, enabling the Abzan's +1/+1 counter shenanigans instantly is going to be strong. Even looking at Einok Bondkin, you give it automatic first strike without needing to pay the Outlast. The value is there, and I guarantee we'll see more creatures that take advantage of counters. Also, for you commander players who play Gav, Guru of Spores, yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy never losing. Anafenza the foremost is the Abzan con. 1 white, 1 black, and 1 green for a 4/4 legendary creature human soldier. When she attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on another target tapped creature you control. If a creature card would be put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. If there wasn't enough graveyard hate in Standard, there is now. Anafenza basically calls out Sidisi and everything the Sultai are all about. For being 3 mana and a 4/4, that graveyard hate ability is pretty cheap and really powerful. Ignoring that, her trigger can hit any other creature that's attacking because they have to tap to attack. The wording is a little weird, but it's still a cool ability. While Abzan has been touted as the control con, it doesn't mean we won't see some powerful mid-range strategies out of them. Anafenza is a 3 mana 4/4 with 2 relevant abilities, and she's a soldier. This is a strong card. I think it shows that the Abzan are not solely about control, but also have some tricks up their sleeve. I'm impressed. Mardu Ascendancy is 1 red, 1 white, and 1 black for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control attacks, put a 1/1 red goblin creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice the Ascendancy to give all creatures you control +0/+3 until end of turn. First off, they are pushing this Mardu aggro strategy so hard it's going to be difficult not to play this clan if you want to play aggro effectively. Second, that second ability is crazy. Okay, let's take this one step at a time. You create a token on every single attack from a non-token creature. Take your mono black aggro deck, add in some Goblin Rabble Masters, a couple 1 or 2 drop white creatures, and boom! You have a stupid aggro deck with the Ascendancy as the top of the curve, and no 4 mana Wrath in Standard. Woo! Even if they were to find a Bioblight for your tokens or a Drown in Sorrow, it doesn't matter. The Ascendancy is ready for that. The second ability is what makes me love this card. Most of the time, something like this would pump up creatures' power even further, but the Mardu aren't stupid. They know they need to survive. Pumping creatures' toughness up to 4 in a meta where 4 toughness is clearly the benchmark is a great idea. Mardu Ascendancy gives aggressive decks something they don't usually get, defensive reach. Watch out for this card. Sagu Mauler is 4 colorless, 1 green, and 1 blue for a 6/6 beast with trample and hexproof, the first card of its kind. It also has morph and can turn face up for 3 colorless, 1 green, and 1 blue. I can see why punching bears is a regular occurrence. Things like this exist. In a rug monster situation, I would love to play this card. Granted, it'd probably be near the top of the curve. I almost don't care. Without a board wipe, how are they going to get rid of this thing? In combat? Okay. Have you seen those claws? Plus, if he's face down, you can just turn him face up and boom, auto hexproof and trample and 4 more power and toughness. The guy is just a gigantic limited bomb that could see play in Commander and possibly Standard. Trample and hexproof together are just scary. Not saying that I saved the best spoiler for last, but I kind of did. Utter End is 2 colorless, 1 white, and 1 black for an instant. Exile target non-land permanent. Does anyone remember Vindicate? Do you remember how stupidly broken that card is? I'll gladly trade 1 mana and not being able to kill lands for the ability to exile and instant speed. Gladly. Every day. This is now the premier removal spell behind maybe Hero's Downfall. This deals with indestructibility real well. Catch-alls have always been annoying to players. Always. This will be no different. I understand that it's 4 mana to remove 1 thing. I get that. But what you have to remember is that it'll hit almost everything. Mutavault is gone, so that isn't a problem. It hits everything else that isn't hexproof, which I assume won't be that big of a deal overall. The cost isn't ideal, but the effect is so overarching that it easily makes up for that in my opinion. Lastly, the flavor text though. I came seeking a challenge, all I found was you. It's like a burn. Am I the only one annoyed that the Teamer Con hasn't been spoiled yet? I'm going kind of nuts. Besides that, what do you all think about the Abzan Con, the various Ascendancies, and every other spoiler released today? Which ones do you like or dislike? Let's just have a conversation, that's all I'm saying. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Cons of Tarkir spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.